I remember to do it this time. Good, good, good. Close this. All right, so welcome everyone. So glad you're here. We have a few slides in the front. Remember that you record this as chapter business, as CB. And then right after that, Teri will take over, okay? So the very first thing we always like to do is, let me hide this real quick. Hide the floating meeting controls. Good. Very first thing we like to do is our report. Do you want to read these names, Melissa?
Sure. These are our interns that are graduating Saturday. And isn't there more than that? Or these are the certified.
These are the ones who are certifying.
So these guys are certifying, and it's Rachel Borders, Tracy Dyer, Naomi Gilbert, Betsy Hensley, Jeff Hodges, Stephen Hodges, Kristen Gerald. Did some of the names change?
No. It's Stephen Hughes. Yes, and Kristen did. She got married.
Okay. I was like, I don't remember that person.
She got married. She did.
Yeah. And Patrick, Ann Minnick, Ray Montgomery, and Dana Philpott.
Awesome. Next screen. And so they get this beautiful enameled dragonfly at graduation. And come on, next screen. There we go.
And our certifications are Mindy Poltrak and Adrienne Paquette. And then our Jeff Hodges, Diana Philpott, and Tracy Dyer are our double certifications for our interns. So they get the little shell, the dragonfly, and their certificate.
Yeah.
And Dana is overdone herself, and she gets 3 pins. She gets the 250-hour dragonfly, the certification pin, and the seashell.
She's been one busy girl.
She has been busy, but she's with Bayou Land Conservancy too, so she's been super busy getting hours with them.
Which is awesome. Okay, thanks, Melissa. Okay, so this is what I was talking about. Oh, was there anything you wanted to add about VMS, darling?
There's a few interns that only need 2 or 3 AT hours. So if any of y'all, if you go look at your hours, all you need is those AT hours to certify. If you can just go do those TMN Tuesdays, that will count, and you too will get your certification pin on Saturday. I just need the few people. There's just a handful of people that need to do that.
Awesome.
And I'm sending out messages. I was sending them out today. So go back and look and check and see if you need to do that, so you too can certify.
Everybody gets it. Okay, so there's $100 stipend that the state office gives to each chapter, and you can use it just for the annual meeting registration. I only have 2 people in the entire chapter who have asked to have their name thrown into the hat for this.
Look at your chat window, Carolyn.
My chat window only has, oh, good. It does have another one. Awesome. Hello, Teri. Okay, good. We do have a second. We do have, oh, this is awesome, y'all. Okay, good. So later on in my slideshow, I have a place where I'm going to actually spin the magic wheel. Adrienne showed me this really cool app where you just type names in and then you press a button and it spins for you and lands on a name. And I will tell you who gets the stipend. So if you've already registered, you will get a $100 refund. If you have not registered yet, you are required to register, okay? So I will add, let me write these names down real quick so I can remember: Sean and Ruth and Linda. Awesome. Okay, guys, let us go. Continue. Close this. And here we go. Okay, so we're still looking for volunteers for the 25th Annual Woodlands Landscaping Solutions. That's going to take place on September 24th. It's going to be right there in Creekside at Help me with the name, Terry. I drew a blank.
It's the Recreation Center at Rob Fleming Park.
Rob
It's the
Fleming.
building that used to be the YMCA.
Yes. So in our bulletin, we actually have a link to sign up for that. And I need you to sign up so I know if we have enough people to cover it. If we don't have enough people to cover it, then, you know, if one person signs up, I'm not going to send one person out by themselves, because it's doable, but it's just not that much fun. You know, it's much more fun with a friend. So go into the bulletin, look for that link, or you can go onto our calendar on that day and find the link to sign up. And it really is fun. I mean, look how cute these kids are. And you get to, I mean, they're selling native plants and stuff. What could be better? So then that counts as AT as you walk around because you're learning stuff. But while you're there doing things, it counts as PO. Here we go. We also need volunteers for the Walker County Master Gardener Expo. These pictures were taken in 2019, and that's Joanne Muirhead. She's one of our Heartwood members. They are getting together on October 8th. We do have one person who's signed up for that already. So please, if you have a chance, sign up. In the bottom left, you'll see a picture of a pasta. It is the butterfly life cycle done in pasta. So it's got the little tiny egg, it's got the larva that's little fusilli, it's got the pupa that's a shell, and then the little bow tie is the butterfly. And the kids had so much fun making these. So if that isn't something that you find interesting, working with the kids and stuff, that's not what you have to do then. You know, you could always just talk about what it is to be a master naturalist. But it's really fun to get up there and visit with the folks in Walker County. So this is one of those for your information things. Houston is having a bird week, and Houston Audubon does a lot of kind of advanced training opportunities. They also have where they go out and do surveys and things like that. I am trying to find out if the surveys will count, because as you know, when it's citizen science, it has to go to a designated specific project. So I've written to them and asked, you know, in eBird, if that's going to be something that we can use or not, if it's a specific project or if it's just something that Houston Audubon does. So I will let you know as soon as I find out more about that. But in the meantime, I mean, it starts this Saturday. So if you go to HoustonAudubon.org and look at their website, the list of their things that they're going to have is just awesome, because birds are migrating. You can just ask Melissa. She has got so many hummingbird feeders that she has to refill them in the middle of the day. And so many hummingbirds. It's pretty awesome. WOG tip. How is that for an acronym? Who thinks up this stuff, right? This is the White Oak Genetics and Tree Improvement Program, and Montgomery and Walker counties are in that area. So apparently white oak trees aren't doing that well. There are some that are very successful, and then there are other trees that aren't doing as well. They are trying to collect acorns from these trees, and they're going to plant them, and then 15 years down the road, they're going to determine which ones thrive, and then they're going to try to propagate those. So this is a long, long process. But to get started, they need to have white oak acorns. So if you're interested in this project, on our calendar, at the very top of the calendar, above the calendar, it says Heartwood Volunteer Projects. And those are the projects that don't show up on the calendar, because you do them at your own pace. You do them on your own time, and you don't need to have it listed on the calendar. If you click on that link and then go down to Citizen Science, White Oak Genetics and Tree Improvement Program, and click on that, it has all the information you could possibly need about how to collect the acorns, which acorns to send. Apparently, if you put them in a jar, the ones that float aren't good. and the ones that sink they are viable. So it's a wealth of information. They sent some really good information, and it's being done through the University of Kentucky, but they are, because certain oaks only grow in certain areas, even though they're all white oak, they're going to have at different parks, they're going to have places for these trees to grow out. So if you're interested in that, just head to our website, go to the calendar, and you'll find more information there for WOG tip. Okay, so I don't think Denise is on. I think she is traveling right now. On Thursday, September 15th at the Houston Arboretum, they are having a talk on bird migration over Houston, which sounds like a fabulous thing to be involved with. That's tomorrow night. On next Tuesday, I think it's the Tuesday after that, the 27th, they're having one of the diversity meetings from Galveston Bay Area chapter. They've been so involved in getting these really good speakers in to talk about increasing diversity and inclusion, and diversity, inclusion, and equity. So Houston Children's Outdoor Bill of Rights is what the topic is going to be on the 27th. There's a QR code at the bottom of the screen if you'd like to use it, or you can go to txmn.org/Galveston Bay Master Naturalist GBMN. Okay. Oh, somebody else came in. Okay. The book plant party is on September 28th. It is a webinar. I love the title of it, If a Tree Falls in the Forest. So this will has lots of information about trees, what to do when there's a drought with trees. There's a QR code on this also. They're going to have, you're going to need to register, but they also have door prizes, which sounds like a lot of fun. I don't know how you do that virtually, but holy moly, people need to go and see how you do that virtually. So on the 28th from 10 to 11:30 is when they're going to present this through AgriLife Extension.
Maybe they have one of those little spinners.
Maybe they do. Maybe they're going to spin it. Okay, so Heartwood Reads is going to start. We're going to pick back up. We're doing Bicycling with Butterflies. Our discussion is going to be September 29th via Zoom. If you're interested in joining that book club and getting the link for that, please go to the bulletin and look for this little front cover of the book, and you'll find that link. What's exciting about it is that Pines and Prairies, the Native Plant Society of Texas, our local chapter, has gotten in touch with Sarah Dykeman, and she is going to come and talk to us. So if you would love to have your book autographed after reading Bicycling with Butterflies, she actually starts in Mexico and bikes along with the butterflies up north. So the meeting on the 10th is going to be hybrid, but if you'd love to come meet her in person, please do. And for more information about that, you can go to the Pines and Prairies Native Plant Society of Texas website and find out more about this presentation. I'm so looking forward to it. I just found out today that they're going to have a pop-up shop right before the annual meeting. Unfortunately, that you only have until the 26th to actually buy things from the pop-up shop. It's things like the green shirt like this, the little the Master Naturalist shirt, some I think long sleeve zip up little cardigans. There's a vest, which I don't know how I'd feel about wearing a vest. I don't know, that might make me look too much like I work at I don't know, someplace where they wear a vest. And then there's the annual meeting t-shirt that's going to be there too. Okie dokie, Terry, you want to talk about this?
Well, one of the things I'll mention to you all tonight is the Texas Water
Dan. Oh.
Texas Water Specialist Program that I've been doing here as part of Environmental Services Program. And Melissa Alderson with TPWD asked me earlier this year if I would talk about the program that we do, what the elements are and how it got put together. And I think it's especially appropriate for master naturalists to consider how they could create a program to take to their local mud or their water utility and partner to tackle water quality issues in their community. So this is next week on Thursday night from 6:30 to 7:30. So if you'd like to register, you could use that QR code, or you can send me an email and I'll send you the link, or you can just Google Texas Waters Specialist. And when you get to that page on TPWD, as you scroll down, the webinars are all listed. This will be the last one for this year, and you should be able to click on that to register.
Awesome. Okay. Okay, before you start, Teri, is there anyone else who would like to be included in the drawing for the annual meeting stipend? Because I have 5 people now, and I'm going to stop my screen share for just a second and grab my spinny wheel.
Did you see Ruth's name in there?
We're going to spin. I did see Ruth's name. Here we go. Let's see if I can find my spinny wheel. It's going to be up here somewhere. There's my spinny wheel. Okay, we're going to add some names. We're going to add Ruth, and we're going to add Sean. Yeah, I can spell Sean. And we're going to add Linda. Okay. All right, guys. Is there anyone else? Y'all can unmute really quick and let me know. Let me go ahead and I'm going to share my screen again so you can see me spin the wheel, because I think this is way exciting. Let's see. How do I get back? Here we go. Let's find this again. Let me go down here and share my screen. Pull this up. There we go. Share screen. There's my little magic wheel. Okay. How cool is that? Is that just cool? Can you see that, Teri?
Yep.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So if anyone else wants to be part of this, let me know now. Otherwise, I'm clicking the button. Okay, here we go. It's Kirsten Katusin. That's so awesome. Okay, I will let Kirsten Katusin know. She is also one of the volunteers for BLC, or does she work at BLC? Anyway, she is actually speaking one of the evenings. She and John Stacy. That's right. Okay, let me stop my share again and go back in here. So many buttons to click. Okay. You've got this. Pulled me out of it again. Okay, it's not as professional as it could be, but you know, we're just hanging out amongst friends, right? Here we go. There. Okay, Sharon, it is your turn.
Okie dokie. So most people know about this, but anyway, here we go with our speaker tonight, Teri MacArthur. She's a certified Texas Master Naturalist since 2001. She serves at the Woodlands Township as Water Conservative Specialist, reflecting her passion about water. With drought a part of our lives now, yet flooding a concern despite the dry summer, Teri will bring Heartwood members and guests up to date on local water issues of concern, and offer ways you can engage in bringing better conversations into the community through volunteering. Now, we had a homework question. I hope everybody is prepared with an answer. The question was, in case you missed it, what are you doing to protect and conserve water? So Teri, take it away.
So as Sharon mentioned, we've been in the drought now for these many months. It's been a quite serious drought, although not quite as serious as the one back in 2011. But nonetheless, it's been problematic. I expect to see trees being lost. In fact, we're already starting to see some trees lost. And unfortunately, some of those trees that are being lost are along waterways. If you've ever been to one of the water labs or a stream team training or heard me talking about it, you know that the fact that there's no trees alongside some of our waterways means the water gets warmer as the day goes on, to the point where dissolved oxygen levels can drop to dangerous levels for fish and other aquatic organisms. So the drought has really stressed a lot of our waterways. But then we have these monsoons that tend to follow droughts. And so not only is flooding of concern, the problem also becomes that after months with no rain, everything that has collected on the land, all of the problem pollutants and contaminants, are now quickly all going to flush into the waterways as stormwater runoff. And the problem is it creates a perfect storm for low levels of dissolved oxygen because of organic materials that get washed in and have to decompose. It also washes things like pollutants like oil from dripping cars or pet waste, other things that are not good for fish and other living things in the water. I think of fertilizers and other chemicals that we use on our yards, how they may cause a lot of new green to grow, which ostensibly is a good thing because that means there's more green stuff to photosynthesize and put oxygen into the water. But the problem there is at night when they can't photosynthesize, they're using up that oxygen they put into the water during the day. And sometimes if there's enough plants, they use up all the oxygen and you end up with a fish kill. You see in the morning as the sun comes up, a bunch of belly up fish. So we have some problems. TCEQ reports on the status of waterways, and we happen to live here in the Spring Creek watershed. And you may be aware that starting in late 2019 and more so in 2020, Houston Galveston Area Council took the lead on developing a watershed protection plan that was submitted last September to Texas Commission on Environmental Quality for their approval and to forward on to the EPA for approval so that funding would become available and we could implement some programs to help with some of our water quality issues. For Spring Creek and most of the tributaries along the way, the primary problem is the water is listed as impaired. Impairment is a serious situation. Impairment TCEQ describes as, according to available data and information, that it indicates that at least one designated use is not being supported or is threatened and may need one of two things, either a total maximum daily load process to assign a value of what may or may not be put into the water, or a watershed protection plan. Well, all the different elements, all the different segments of Spring Creek, including Lower Panther Branch, Upper Panther Branch, Bear Branch, Willow Creek, Walnut Creek, Brushy Creek, all of those that are right here in our area, they are all listed as impaired. But most of them also are of concern as fish habitat because of low dissolved oxygen. So we do have some problems, but the primary one is the impairment, which is caused by bacteria, too high levels of bacteria. And if you've heard me talking about this at all, you already know that when the bacteria is analyzed, it turns out it is an estimated 76% of the bacteria is from dog waste. That makes it a 100% solvable problem if we stop leaving dog waste on the ground, or even going to the trouble to pick it up and put it in a bag and then leave the bag on the ground. Or worse yet, toss the bag into a storm drain inlet, thinking out of sight, out of mind. But nonetheless, all of that pet waste that washes out of our yards, from along our pathways, out of the edges of the forest where people walk their dogs, or even in those bags, it all gets washed into the nearest waterway during a heavy rain event. So at this moment, I would venture to guess that our bacterial levels are very high in our waterways again. We can't solve all of Spring Creek's problems here, right in our area. We can't, but we can solve our own tributary problems just by picking up dog poop and putting it in the trash. So when the Watershed Protection Plan meetings began, the stakeholder meetings, in trying to get a little bit ahead of that wait for TCEQ and EPA to approve the plan before we could implement some ways to mitigate for it. Here in our department, we began to talk about dog poop. Quite frankly, we began to talk about dog poop and went to our local MUD districts, municipal utility districts. Specifically, the first one that we partnered with was MUD 6, which is in Grogan's Mill Village of the Woodlands. If you are familiar with the Woodlands at all, it's the oldest part of the Woodlands. And they purchased some markers, some educational markers that we could install on the tops of storm drain inlets. They agreed to buy the markers and the adhesive, and our department agreed to recruit, train, and deploy volunteers to put them down. So February 2020, we had a workshop. More than 50 people showed up, signed up, and said, yes, I want to help with this project. The first work days were scheduled as the last Friday and Saturday in March. And we all got sent home the middle of March. So that project has languished for months and months until the end of 2020. We tried to retool, decided that maybe a better way we could do this was we try to recruit family units, and they could install drain markers on the inlets right on their own street or right in the couple of streets around in their neighborhood. I mean, let's face it, why do we volunteer? Why do people volunteer? There have been a couple of studies about why people volunteer, including a study of water quality monitors, volunteer water quality monitors here in Texas. And the number one reason given in both the big studies that I read about was people want to contribute to nature conservation. Well, what a better way than to try to help clean up and make our waterways a lot healthier. The number two reason given was they wanted to learn more about nature. Number three, they wanted to contribute to science. Well, as we do this work, there's this adjunct of monitoring that goes with it. And we can find out for sure over time whether we're making a positive improvement on the quality in the waterway, reducing the bacteria, reducing the other contaminants, helping dissolved oxygen levels come up for the health of fish and other organisms. So contributing to science is a great one. And then a tie for fourth place was citizen science volunteering and working together with other people who are concerned about the environment as well. So this is an opportunity to participate in a way that satisfies all those needs. So how the program sets up is, yes, you can help put down drain markers on storm drain inlets. You could do that. Or you can go through neighborhoods where those drain markers have been put down, and you can hang informational door hangers in that neighborhood. They talk not only about pet waste, but yard waste and lawn chemicals as some of the other contributors, especially to low dissolved oxygen that are in our waterways. Or you can help us by handing out pet waste bag dispensers that have a carabiner on them so that people can hang it on the handle of their dog's leash. And they've got the bags right there to pick up the pet's waste so they can have it in a bag and take it to a trash can. In fact, the carabiners and the dispensers both say bag it and trash it, because that second step is what's been lacking. We find bag after bag after bag of pet waste along pathways, in storm drains. Believe it or not, there are some people who hang it on the branch of a tree or hang it on the top of a fence, waiting for the pet waste ferry to come and pick it up. Well, you know what? There is no pet waste ferry. So if somebody who's conscientious enough happens by to pick it up and take it and put it in a trash can, that's a great thing. But too much of it obviously is still getting washed into our waterways, or we wouldn't have TCEQ listed as impaired. So it's a problem. It means that there's an unhealthy waterway that is literally a health risk to touch the water because of the high bacteria. And you certainly wouldn't want to go swimming in it or take any chance that you might ingest some, because it could lead to a fairly serious intestinal infection. So what do we do? What can each of us do to reduce some of the pressure on our water resources, especially during times of drought? Would be to avoid wasting water. I mean, let's think about things like lawn watering. I mean, that's really something that a lot of folks set their sprinkler system to run twice a week for however long they run it. And it's a set and forget kind of mentality. It doesn't matter if it's raining, if it's time for the sprinkler system to come on, it comes on. Most of this irrigation is used on turf grass, lawn, St. Augustine, which is a warm season grass that really doesn't like to be watered more than 1 inch a week. While during the drought, sure, it may need 1 inch a week, but if it's rained at all, it probably doesn't need an inch. And I have talked to people and asked them, so do you know for sure how much water your sprinkler system puts out when it's running? And they say, no, how would I find that out? So auditing your sprinkler system to find out how much water it puts out can guide you to better watering, not just to save water, but to make your grass healthier. So finding ways to avoid wasting water would be a good thing. I mean, when you ask fifth graders, I ask fifth graders a lot, what could I do to save water? Their number one answer is turn off the faucet while you brush your teeth. Okay, on average, if you turn off the faucet while you brush your teeth, you save about 4 gallons of water. But how many times a day do you brush your teeth, and how many people in the family brush their teeth over a year's time? That could save you hundreds of gallons of water. But it also saves those hundreds of gallons of water at the source. So for wildlife, fish, and other wildlife that need water in the waterways for their health, as well as the health of the ecosystem, you've left some water there for them. And that's a good thing. There are other ways that you can think of that you might conserve water. And just FYI, the state water plan for 2022 says over the next 50 years, about 26% of the water we're going to need is going to come from conservation. Otherwise, we have to go out and find some way to get more water, which could mean drilling wells, which are expensive enough, or building a new reservoir with a dam like Lake Conroe. Oh my gosh, that's really expensive. And then there's all the infrastructure cost to get water from whatever new water source actually to a treatment plant and then to our homes. So the cheapest water we're ever going to have is the water we have right now, by conserving it, by avoiding water waste. So the question was, what are you doing to keep our waterways healthy and to conserve water? I hope that you gave that some consideration, or will, and we'll take a look at how you use water in your home and in your yard, and consider if there's something different you could do. But I want to share my screen with you now and show you just how this program has developed. So if you can see, this is from the end of 2021. So I can't see part of the numbers, Carolyn, because there's somehow in my video view, I've got pictures over it. But in these years leading up to 2021, you can see this top group is classes and attendance. So under water conservation, this is how many classes or workshops or seminars and how many total people attended those for that year. And then here's the same series of years under the Watershed Project hours. Well, as I've already mentioned, 2020, we didn't get to start the program when we planned. So there were only 100 plus volunteer hours that year. And then 2021, when we started getting it rolling, there were a little over 500. But if you look on the left side, these are the stats just for this year through August. This says 299 volunteers. I don't know exactly how to tell you that number, because it's not 299 individuals. It's I'll show you on the next slide how many people have registered to volunteer, but some obviously volunteer more frequently, some less frequently. But there were 299 volunteering opportunities so far this year. And of those opportunities, 1,365 hours were volunteered on Watershed Project activities. In case you're not aware, the current value of volunteer service hours in the state of Texas is $28.14 an hour. I wish I got paid that, honestly, but so far this year, volunteers have donated more than $38,000 worth of their time on water improvement projects through township activities. And this is just through environmental services. I'm sure some are volunteering in other ways that are helping water, but this is just this one program. We've marked over 4,000 drain inlets. More than 7,400 houses have gotten those door hangers on them. And more than 1,000 of those dog waste bag dispensers have been given out. So it's been, in my opinion, a successful year. And I think it's an indicator of how we can expect this program to progress over the next year. And here are, some of the things that people have done. Up here in the top left corner, this is where you can see that there are 166 volunteers who've registered to help with the overall drain marking project, which includes the door hangers and the pet waste bags and so forth. And the other part of the program to help make people more aware of our water issues is what I'll be talking about next week on Thursday night on the Parks and Wildlife webinar. It's the Texas Water Specialist Program. Anyone can register with Texas Parks and Wildlife. If you are a master naturalist, you are already registered when you created your profile to become a master naturalist. And so to get certified as a Texas Water Specialist requires 8 hours of training on the Texas Water's curriculum. Well, I do about once a month, I do a 3 or 4 hour water lab based on that curriculum. And every month on the third Monday in the afternoon, I do a 2 hour online discussion on that curriculum. And, plus there are other occasional ways to attend trainings or classes. So maybe Melissa has an idea, but because you report your hours in through your Master Naturalist chapter, I don't get to see those. And I don't know how many of our members are reporting hours to either become certified by attending 8 hours of training or to get recertified by doing 10 hours of volunteer service related to water activities. But I know Melissa Alderson with Parks and Wildlife tells me that she is starting to see more and more and more people in our area get their water specialist certification. So I hope you will consider that. Here's one of the earlier talks that we had in a park. Residents came out. We talked about the pet waste problem. This young man is a high school student who demonstrated to the group how the pet waste bag dispensers work and how he had given them out. This picture is a group of elementary school students who wanted to help. And so their teachers took this group out and they marked all the drain inlets right in the area where their little private school is located. These two young men are Woodlands Green student ambassadors. So they're high school students who were looking for volunteering opportunities related to water. And so they followed into a neighborhood where drain marking had happened the week before. And they put the door hangers, you see they're holding the door hangers there on the neighborhoods throughout that park. This picture at the bottom is at one of the water labs. One of the activities we occasionally do is test for dissolved oxygen in water. And so these students are learning how to do that test. This is what we'll be doing this coming Saturday. I know it's graduation day, so I don't expect to see any of the interns there. But this is a program that we partner with Keep Texas Beautiful. It's part of their EPA grant the program that they run called Trash Free Waters. And so we use these onion bags so that when we're picking up around a waterway, the water can drain out, collect up trash in or in near waterways, and then actually audit the trash. So it's a true citizen science project, because after we've sorted and counted all of the trash and litter that we pick up, I report those numbers in to Keep Texas Beautiful for their litter database that Hark here in the Woodlands helped them develop and helps them maintain. Here's just a couple of other scenes from water labs. This one we were collecting water and checking turbidity with the turbidity tube. Here's some more students at a water lab. So this is another not student volunteer who's putting down drain markers. And you might be able to see some of these folks are wearing their vests that identify them as township volunteers. So while they're out there standing in the street putting down storm drain markers, if somebody says, "What are you doing?" they have some credibility. So this is where we are. The next thing coming up after this weekend is in October. I'm going to send this flyer to Carolyn and along with the information for next week or the following week's bulletin. On October 15, we'll be doing another Keep Trash-Free Waters litter collection and audit at Lake Harrison down in Grogan's Mill. We'll meet that morning at Sawmill Park at 9 a.m., collect litter and trash for maybe 45 minutes, and then spend probably about an hour to sort and audit it so we can report that in. But this registration QR code, I know online you can't click on the link that I've shown there, but you could use this QR code if you haven't already registered as a volunteer for the storm drain marking project, stormwater pollution volunteering. You could do that and you would get notices about this coming weekend or for this one coming up October 15, all of the classes, the online discussion, and volunteering opportunities if you're interested in taking part. And just in case you haven't also heard, we've done one young man has done his Eagle project, putting down drain markers in a neighborhood. One Girl Scout has done her Gold Award project, putting down drain markers in a neighborhood. And this young man in the photo here, this coming Sunday, will be doing his Eagle project, putting down storm drain markers in the neighborhood near Shadow Bend Park. So there are plenty of opportunities to volunteer to keep your certification as a Texas water specialist. Initial certification is 8 hours of class time training, or attend the webinars like I'll be doing next week on Thursday, or other specific water related things that relate to Texas Water's curriculum. And then recertification is on an annual basis, and it is simply 10 hours of water related volunteering. So it's pretty easy to get this certification. It's pretty easy to keep this certification. My email address is down here at the bottom if you want to make note of that. Or as I say, if you want to use the QR code that you can see on the screen, you should be able to scan that with your camera on your phone and register if you're not already registered. And if you are already registered, thank you. And you should be getting occasional emails from me inviting you to classes and volunteering. So I think I've droned on long enough about what's going on here locally. And ways that master naturalists can get involved. Carolyn, do you have any questions for me?
I don't have questions in the chat yet. What I wanted to ask Teri, the Keep Texas Beautiful, because a lot of the volunteer opportunities you're talking about are specific to the Woodlands, and we do have quite a few people who live like around Lake Conroe and around other bodies of water. With the Keep Texas Beautiful, can they do that closer to where they are, or is that really just for our area?
So Keep Texas Beautiful is a statewide organization. They prefer that you work through an affiliate. So if you find out if there's a Keep Texas Beautiful affiliate in your community or near you that you can volunteer with, or if your Master Naturalist chapter wishes, they can become a Keep Texas Beautiful affiliate.
Awesome.
You can participate without being a KTB person. And when I'm explaining to you about volunteering opportunities, yes, they all are going to be within the Woodlands Township because that's who pays me to run these programs.
Mhm.
But certainly all of these activities can be done elsewhere. And one of the things I'm going to talk about next Thursday night for Parks and Wildlife is a little bit more about the nuts and bolts of how to put one of these programs together. I think a master naturalist chapter with enough volunteers who are interested in water could go to their municipal utility district, their mud or their water utility in their community and say, if there aren't drain markers to get people to pay attention, would you like to buy them and we could volunteer to put them down? If you want to create and print door hangers, we could volunteer to put them out for you. I mean, I think it's a good volunteering opportunity for master naturalists that they could take to their local water seller.
Mhm.
You know, it's all about water. I mean, it really
Right.
is. It's an important topic. It's something that we're going to have to face sooner or later, that, you know, we've always taken water for granted, and it's not an infinite source. So we're going to have to start thinking of ways to get people to be aware of what their water quality issues are. The healthier and cleaner a waterway is that's used for drinking water source, the less expensive it is to treat that water to drink. But it also means it's a healthier habitat for fish and other aquatic organisms.
One of the other questions I had, Terry, was, oh wait, now it just, so the Texas Water Specialist program is something that, that as a master naturalist, people can sign up for, and through you and through the classes that you teach, they can get their, is it 10 hours of
It's
training?
8 hours of training.
Okay.
If they live out of the area and can't come to some of the water labs that I do in person, they can come to my 2-hour online discussions on the third Monday of every month from 3 to 5 p.m. So if you, I didn't put a link up here to become a water specialist. So if you're a master naturalist, you're going to report both your training hours and your volunteer hours as Texas Water Specialist, just like you report all your other hours. But for me to know that you want to attend my stuff, you need to register with me for that. And then I will send you the links for the online and the notices about the water labs if you can attend in person. I don't know how I can show. Can I show you, Carolyn? Tell me, if I stop this share, can I go to the township website and show you how to get to it?
Yeah, what you'll do is you'll stop this share, and on your computer, you'll shoot over to and open up that. And once you have it open, then you'll do share screen and you'll look for that little icon.
So
that
to
shows-
get to the Woodlands Township, it's just the Woodlands. Can you see that, Carolyn? No, I'm not sharing right now.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
All right, let me go back and share. Okay, now can you see that?
It says the Woodlands Township.
Okay, so this is the Woodlands Township, the Woodlands Township -tx.gov. If you go behind that and put a slash and type Texas -water/ I think it has to be S, waters specialist. Oh, that's not right.
It says no.
Okay, give me a sec here. I'm
Okay.
going to put in water conservation. Now here's the link to the web page.
Okay.
Maybe you have to capitalize it. Do you know?
Well, it says 1569 first.
I don't think you have to type that initially, but I guess you have to capitalize Texas Waters and Specialist.
Maybe so.
But so down here where it says sign me up as a Texas water specialist. Sorry, right here, sign me up as a Texas water specialist.
Mhm.
You can click there, and that way you get notices about classes and volunteering opportunities from me. If you don't need any of the rest of this stuff, if you're a master naturalist, because you report your hours through your chapter. But for me to know that you want me to notify you of classes and opportunities, you would need to register with me. This is what the certificate looks like. In fact, there's a photo on the certificate of what the pins look like. It's a really kind of a nice large pin. How do I get this up?
Let's see if I can.
It's kind of a nice large pin that says Texas Water Specialist.
There you
A
go.
lot of folks in our chapter have already gotten certified, and the chapter, Parks and Wildlife, will acknowledge that you have recertified year after year, but the chapter, our chapter, actually annually purchases a nice little pin ourselves for recertified water specialists. Our last year, what was it? Was it a fish? I'm sorry, I can't remember what we gave last year. It was a frog or a fish, but
It was one
yeah,
of those. It was one of those.
it was
I
one
don't
of
remember
those.
which one. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a nice little pin to add to your pin collection. But the most important thing is that, you're really learning a lot about water, and it gives you volunteering opportunities that are so worthwhile.
One of the things that Melissa wanted me to remind everyone of is if you are interested in becoming a Texas water specialist, please let Melissa know so that way she can make sure that your VMS survey, that form that you fill out for your hours, has that little box to tick that says Texas water specialist on it. So Melissa, hold on. I'm going to type her email address in the chat. heartwoodmembers@gmail.com, and she will be able to add that little box for you. And like Terry said, so there are two people who need to know that you're interested. The first one is Terry, because she's going to be teaching, and the second one is going to be Melissa, because she's going to be keeping track. And I think Melissa Alderson herself pulls the information from our VMS, from every chapter's VMS, and sends the pin directly to you when you certify as a Texas water specialist.
She sends the certificate and the pin to you. Yes.
Mhm.
The next 2-hour online discussion is from the Texas Waters curriculum guide. It'll be Monday, the 19th from 3 to 5 p.m. So if you want to do that 2 hours, jump in with those 2 hours of training, sign up with me as soon as you can. It's from this curriculum guide called Texas Waters. I have some hard copies. If you are willing to make the trek to my office here near Woodlands High School, you can come pick one up. Best to let me know so I can stick your name on it in case I'm not here. Someone can find it for you. Or you can just Google Texas Waters Specialist and go to the TPWD page, scroll down and click on the curriculum on the left side, the Texas Waters curriculum, and download it. If you don't want the hard copy, you can download it as a digital file. We'll be reviewing chapters 5 and 7. I think that's right, 5 and 7 on Monday. So, get the book and read 5 and 7 and participate in the conversation if you're interested. Who else has a question?
Would anyone like to unmute if you have a question for Terry? I guess we're doing good, Terry. You know, one of the nicest things about, oh, Sharon has asked, is it too late to sign up for Saturday?
No, it's not too late. So,
This Saturday. I'm
because I can't remember everyone, Sharon, are you registered with me as a,
No, I'm not.
Volunteer?
I mean, no, pre-COVID, I did stuff, but
okay. Okay, hang on a second, guys. Let me go in here and do something real quick.
I can chat with you later.
Nope, I'm gonna put this right into the chat window.
Awesome.
See if this works. Okay, this is the registration form for storm drain marking, stormwater pollution volunteering.
Perfect.
That's
works
what I
for
would
me.
need, Sharon, is register there.
Okay.
When you do that, what I'll do is send you the email that I sent out a little earlier this week, reminding everyone about Saturday is going to be at Shadow Bend Park. It's a waterway cleanup and audit, KTB waterway cleanup and audit. And then Sunday, right there in the same neighborhood, is the Boy Scout Eagle Project. For that one, we're meeting up in the parking lot at David Elementary, which is right next to Shadow Bend Park, and across the street into the neighborhood to do drain marking, door hangers, give out the pet waste bag dispensers, all of that. So clean up in the waterway on Saturday and Boy Scout drain marking on Sunday. If you're interested, you showed about the program with the league. Oh, okay, hang on, let me go back and do that.
So we do have some people who don't live in the Woodlands who have come in and done drain marking.
Yes,
because
yeah, quite a few.
It's a great way to get your volunteer hours because it's pretty easy work, you know, once you get started. Wearing those gloves is important. You don't want that sticky epoxy on your fingers or on your clothes. So, but it really is, and it's interesting because people walk by and they'll ask you, you know, what are you doing and why, and then you can tell them how important it is that, and you can tell them how, you know, when they open those drains and it's full of bags, and I love to tell that to people who are walking their dogs.
Yes. All right, so I have put the link now in the chat window for the Texas Water Specialist page. So if you want to click on that link right now and save that page to register with me to get notifications about classes and volunteering. Love to have more master naturalists involved. Quite a few are. Yeah. Locally, as part of Water Specialist, I do a lot with high schoolers. You know, you may guess it's very difficult for anyone under age 18 to register with Parks and Wildlife as a volunteer. It's really difficult. Lots of hoops to jump through. So what Melissa Alderson with Parks and Wildlife said to me earlier this year, February, she said, hey, why don't you run the program for high schoolers there? So when anyone who's under age 18 in grades 9 through 12 wants to get their certificate, they still sign up just like you do, only I track their hours locally. And the reason I had that little pin to show you what it looks like is Melissa sent me the template to print off their certificates and a bag full of pins to give them. So for high schoolers, if you have a high schooler or a grandchild who's a high schooler or know someone who might like to get that certification, I mean, it looks great on their college application resumes, and especially if they get certified and then do some volunteering related to water. I mean, that really adds to their resume when they're applying for college. So, so far since February, I've certified 13 high schoolers.
Awesome.
So It's a great program. It's a really great program.
That is awesome. Great job, Terry. Because water is going to be such an issue.
It
with as many
already
people
is.
as we have moving into the state and the amount of drawing on our resources. So you asked us what we were doing for water. I got one of those things for my sprinkler system that tells whether or not it's rained, so it doesn't turn on.
A rain sensor.
That's exactly what you call it, right?
Yes, a rain sensor.
I
So
got a
that
sensor.
if you've got your system set to come on at a certain time and it either is raining or has just rained, that
Mhm.
sensor won't let the sprinkler system come on. I actually have a couple of them in my office to give away. So if anybody who's on here tonight has a automated sprinkler system that does not have a rain sensor and is willing to DIY it, to add one, send me an email and I'll set up a time with you to come by and pick up a rain sensor. I have some.
Awesome. It's really nice.
The other thing is, if people are so inclined, like Hunter and Rainbird, a lot of them for like $100 or $150, you can switch your faceplate out for a Wi-Fi smart enabled irrigation system. Like I have one, and it actually every night at 2 a.m. it checks to see what the forecast is. And if the percentage of rain is so high, it won't rain, it won't go. If the wind is a certain speed, it won't go. It also measures evaporation, so it'll adjust my sprinkler system up and down. So
Wow.
if it's been more like humid, or like you're starting, like now we're starting to have cooler nights and it's getting into the fall, it'll adjust my sprinkler times down because the water is essentially not evaporating as fast. So it's like a lot of those are very smart. It's saved me a lot of money in irrigation. I in one summer I was saving about $80 a month when I went to it.
That's awesome, Eric. That is
I
so
think I love you, man.
yeah. And you know what I thought
Yeah.
Eric was going to say? I thought Eric was going to say, just replace all that lawn with some native plants.
Yeah. Well, that kind of works too, but but yeah, no, I mean, I loved it when I went to that. I mean, there's like with Hunter, you can have, I actually have a weather station in my backyard, and so I pay like $60 a month, and it uses my weather station to evaluate my watering schedule, and it
Wow.
waters accordingly.
There are 3 evapotranspiration stations here in southern part of Montgomery County, and then one a little further up north. And you can program your smart controllers to read any or all of those. If you don't have a smart controller, but you would like to know whether to water your grass and how much to water, you can also go on to woodlandswater.org, woodlandswater.org. And when you scroll down on the right side, it says sign up for updates. And you can put in your email address and a little bit of information about where you are. And every week, usually on Monday, John Geiger sends out an email that says, hey, we had this much rain, or the ET level is this, so only water a 1/4 inch this week. So choose your second day of the week to water, whatever the circumstances are. So if you don't have a smart controller, you can still find out whether to water and how much to water by signing up with that. Anybody else care to share what they are doing to conserve and help keep water safe?
I can.
Okay.
This is Jennifer. We have a pretty sophisticated rainwater harvesting system on our house, and 30,000 gallon tank. And that's all I use on my landscaping. I have over 4,000 square feet of pollinator garden, and I only use rainwater.
Wonderful. That's wonderful. Not everybody has room for a 40,000 gallon tank, but
Right.
every bit helps.
I live in the boonies.
I know.
That's what's so nice about living in the boonies, is being able to have that.
Well, if no one else has questions or willing to share what they're doing, I guess I'm done with you for tonight.
Well, Chuck has added in the chat, we use natural selection. If it can't survive a drought, we don't worry about it. So nice not to live in the city. Yeah, that's the way to plant it. That's what's nice about native plants is you put it in there and they're kind of used to feast or famine, right? Or flood,
Exactly.
right? So, yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay, so let me tell you, today we had 0.5 for chapter business. So when you go into VMS, make sure you put 0.5 in for chapter business. And for AT, we have 0.75, is that right?
I don't know. It's 7:15. It seems like we started pretty close after 6:15. I guess 7.75, or it might have been an hour. I don't know.
6:30, I thought we said a little closer to 6:30. So Melissa would tell us, Melissa.
Sorry, yes, it's more like an hour, guys.
Oh, okay. So let's do an hour
Right.
for AT.
Yeah, or did you say 0.75?
I said 0.75, but I'll
Yes,
take an hour.
it is 0.75.
Okay.
Okay.
So 0.75 for AT, 0.5
Meeting's
for
closing
chapter.
down anyway.
Okay.
They're closing down?
The meeting's about to end.
Yep, the meeting's about to end, Gerald. Yeah. Okay, y'all. So thank you so much for joining us. Remember to check the calendar and your bulletin for all of the latest on what's going on in your neck of the woods. Okay.
Thanks for listening, folks.
Thanks, Terry. Great job.
Thank you,
Good
Terry.
night.
Thank you.
You're awesome.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Hey, Wade, did you call my name?
Yeah, can you call me in a second so I can talk to you?
I don't know if I have your number, but Bobby does. I'll use his phone.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.